pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, you may be seated. All right, item number 3 is corrections or additions and approval of the agenda. Now, the agenda that we received at the last board meeting, there is a change. We have added item number 12, which is discussion and vote on the appropriation of funds for the SCHS ball field restrooms. So I will seek a motion for the approval of the agenda as it is right now.
Make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Lamb.
Second.
Second by Ms. Sanders. Ms. Sanders. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed, no. All right. Item number 4 is open public comment. There was no sign up, so we'll skip to item number 5, which is the approval of the minutes for the called meeting June 25th, 2024. I'll seek a motion for approval of the minutes that you received in your package.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Ms. Fitchie.
Second.
Second by Mr. Lamb. Those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed, no. The yeses have it. All right. Item number 6 is the consent agenda. I'll seek a motion for the approval of the consent agenda unless it's pretty big, unless somebody wants to pull out different sections. Just let me know what you wish. I'll seek a motion for the entire consent agenda if we're good with that.
Make a motion for the complete consent agenda.
All right, Mr. Lamb. Second by Ms. Sanders. All right, let's have a discussion.
Is this pretty much all of them, or would there be any more?
I've asked, and I think that we have them all. There may be something that comes up in the year for if a group goes on a trip or something special happens, we may have to come back, but I asked them to have them all for the whole year.
So basically, the fundraisers are pretty much,
They're
and
all
then the
used.
trips, there may be some trips.
Yes.
Okay.
And the fundraisers are, for the most part, I approved all of them, and they're all what they usually do. It just looks like an awful lot because it's for the whole school year.
All right, any more questions? Going to Anaheim this year for FBLA?
That's just what it says, yes.
All right. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed, no. All right, the yeses have it. Item number 7 is approval of amendments 141 and 142. I'm going to split these out and just ask for I'm going to seek a motion for approval of amendments 141. Motion by Mr. Passot. Second by Mr. Gillen. Discussion?
These are monies that, first set of them are for summer camp transportation. This came from the state, and we're putting that back into being reimbursed for the expenditures for transportation during summer camp. And the second, that's the paying for summer camp. That's for all the people who work, insurance, salaries, things like that. And we just and so it totals up to the second group is $210,000, and the first is $38,000. But it's all stuff that came, all monies that came from the state. Excuse me.
I actually changed that since they got in the packet because it better reflected what actually we spent on summer camp and that what the grant was going to cover. That way we didn't have to do as much cleanup at the end of the year. So that's what I just handed out. So the original grant was $210,000, but we did not expend that much money for summer camp. Once summer camp ended, we saw how much we were going to spend, so we're not going to spend the full grant. We're going to spend $134,000 down there in the bottom to cover teacher salaries and the assistants, including food service and nurses, and then above, as he mentioned, the $25,000 was for all of our bus drivers and diesel fuel and all their benefits.
Do you remember how many we had this year?
Students, around 180. 180 students, so that was rising kindergartners to rising ninth graders.
What was the duration of that?
4 weeks.
Pretty much it was a completion, starting to complete, everybody came, on the most part.
Yeah, we had great attendance. Once everybody started, they pretty much stuck with it.
All right. Any other questions? I'll ask for a roll call on that.
Mr. Lamb?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Ms. Fitchie?
Yes.
Mr. Costello? Ms. Sanders? Mr. Gillum?
Yes.
All right, thank you. I'll seek a motion for approval of amendments for the 142 budget. Mr. Gillum, I got a first. Second by Mr. Lamb. All right, let's talk about that. Absolutely.
Since we passed the FY 125-142 budget there in Title I back in April, we decided to add 2 educational assistants that are going to roll over from ESSER that has gone away. So I'm going to pick those up with Title I. So that's their salaries and benefits are reflected. Also, since that time, the State Department has reviewed and approved my federal budget, and this year, our math coach that I pay out of Title I, the salary line will change for her, and now it will come out of the 72210-172 up at the top. And now it's a new line that they've never had in the past for instructional coaches. So for in the past she was paid out of 189, now she's paid out of 172. So that's the Title I amendment. The Title II amendment just better reflects what the preliminary allocations are. Title II got $20,000 more than I had estimated, so I'm just bringing that money in. And then down there at the bottom, ESSER 3, that's the carryover money that would be from FY24, bringing it into FY25, that we'll have expended by September 30th. We have September 30th to get that taken care of. So.
What kind of software are we getting with it?
So it's just educational programs. iExcel is one of them, and Edmentum that we've used for years for credit recovery, and Study Island at the middle school.
That's the end of the ESSER money.
That is the end of ESSER 3.
All right. Any other questions? All right, I'll ask for a roll call.
Mr. Gillum?
Yes.
Mr. Lamb?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Ms. Fitchie?
Yes.
Mr. Costello? Ms. Sanders?
All right, item number 8 is the approval of federal projects resolution. I'll seek a motion for the approval of that.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Lamb. Second by Ms. Sanders. Let's talk about it. Yes.
Help us with this too, I believe.
So last winter, the comptroller's office sent out that with federal programs, if we pass jointly a resolution, the school board and the county commission, that federal grant dollars would only have to be approved by the State Department, which it is, which they tell us how to spend the grant money is. It runs through E-Plan, and they approve it, and then it comes to you guys, and then it goes to the county commission. So to expedite the access to federal grant dollars, the resolution would say it would go through State Department approval, then school board, but new money would not have to go to the county commission. As of right now, new grants have to go to the county commission, but my amendments, once I amend 142 budget, it stops here. It goes State Department in here. So that's essentially what the resolution says, coming from the comptroller's office, that we now have that option as a county.
Pass the resolution, we'll take it to the county commission, and if they pass it, that's a procedure.
Yeah. Understand.
Cuts out the state.
Right.
Timing of the meeting, sometimes, it would take 3 months to get it.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Any other questions about that? All right, all those in favor of approval of the federal projects resolution, signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Yes, those opposed, no. All right. Item number 9 is the approval of the civil rights and bullying compliance report. I'll seek a motion for the approval of the civil rights and bullying compliance report.
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Fitchie. Second by Ms. Sanders. Is that talking about that.
This is required by the state that we present to the school board every year. The statistics or the data that we collect over the year, or the 23-24 school year, in terms of reports of bullying or civil rights violations. You've all seen this, and it just goes through the different numbers. And as you can see, there were more reported. And I attribute, that's my opinion, that's because people, kids and parents and so forth, are more aware and more informed of bullying, and they know to report it, so you get more reports, I think. But the numbers are not that far skewed from what they have been, and basically it just presents y'all to see the numbers. We have to report it once it's approved. Y'all seen it, then it goes to the state.
Mike, with the cyberbullying cases, that's going to be more than likely outside of school, correct?
Yes, because sometimes, really we can't, unless it comes in and affects what's going on in the school.
Right. So is there a way for us to know how many out of the 36 in 23, 24, is there any way to break that down to know that, just because of the fact, we don't want it to go on.
And we'd have to go back and look at the document we use in investigate, which we just updated, and there's a new document that the principals and administrators will be using when there is a report. It has standard questions that you go through and ask. It's all the same. But we probably could. I don't have it.
Well, the only reason I ask that is because we all know that with technology growing the way it is, cyberbullying is only going to get worse. We have things in place to hopefully help that, but we definitely. I'm just curious on the difference in bullying in school and bullying, when you're not at school, using computers and things. So just something kind of curious about.
If you remind me and give me a call or an email, we'll see which one and kind of break it down even more.
All right. Any other questions? All right. All those in favor of the approval of the civil rights and bullying compliance report signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Those approved. Those no. Those that don't approve say no. Sorry. All right, it's approved. All right, item number 10 is the approval of the Stellar contract. I'll seek a motion for the approval of the Stellar contract. Motion by Ms. Sanders, second by Mr. Passot. Let's have some discussion on that.
Ms. Crane?
Yes.
This is for physical therapy.
Well, actually, Stellar is we've worked with them for several years now, probably I'd say 5. They help us in a lot of areas. They help us with staffing if we're unable to find related service providers, so like PT, speech, those kinds of things. We couldn't find a PT 2 years ago, so they provided us with Courtney Kinsey. She's fantastic. So our fees that we pay Stellar every year, part of that goes to Courtney's salary for her services. The other part goes for the legwork that they do with the insurance companies to get our Medicare reimbursements. So last year we spent $31,320 to Stellar. We paid them that much. We got $14,390 in reimbursements.
Really, we got a physical therapist for a whole year for about $16,000.
Any other questions about this? This is something that we've had in place for several years. When they first talked to us about it, it was a no-brainer. It's still a no-brainer. They're doing a lot of work for us to get us reimbursements, and like Mr. Passot said, we've got a physical therapist for about $16,000 that year. So that's really good. I'm gonna ask for a roll call on this one.
Ms. Fitchie?
Yes, me, okay.
Mr. Passat?
Yes.
Ms. Sanders?
Yes.
Gillum?
Yes.
Mr. Lamb?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
All right, the yeses, take it. On item number 11 is the approval of the policies. Now, we received all these policies the last meeting. So we had enough time to look through everything and see if there's anything that we wanted to talk about. What I'd like to do is approve all of them together unless somebody wishes to pull any one or all of them out. It's up to you guys what we do. I will seek a motion for the approval of all the policies, and then we can talk about them. Or if there's any particular one y'all want to pull out, then we'll do that as well.
Well, I'll make a motion, we vote on to approve all of them and only discuss if someone needs to discuss amongst the board members. They've been out for longer than last meeting, we got them an email a month before that.
Right.
so.
All right, got a second by Mr. Passot. All right. Any discussion on any of those policies? Does anybody have any questions about the policies?
The only one that I had discussion about, which this was brought up I believe it was last summer in summer law. Mr. Wing, you probably can answer this better than anybody. The artificial intelligence programs, we all know what they're capable of doing. Is the state, are they trying to figure out a way to be able to prevent kids from plagiarism?
We're working with the state and also working with our internet service provider. They're looking at solutions all the way around. Right now what the state's providing is a list of URLs that we can block.
Right.
But I think that they're getting worn out since this law changed and you have to pass this policy.
Right.
I think the State Department is beginning to get worn out about AI, so I will probably see more guidance
More
from
changes.
the state.
Yeah. Well, that was the only thing that I was concerned with, was that there's so many ways for kids to use it, and there's no way to prove it. I mean,
Right.
there absolutely is no way
Well,
to prove it.
and the state has given guidance on, best practices of how to curb plagiarism and make sure you're giving tests that aren't on a computer.
Right.
Things like that, questioning kids about their writing,
Mhm.
things like that. Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
The state's given us a toolbox, but it's pretty skinny right now.
Yeah, like I said, I know this is still very fresh, but
Yeah.
that was one concern. I know that I know that again we talked about it. It was a summer law, just being able to, seeing the functions that how far it's come in just the last few years. I mean, who knows what it's going to be in
Well,
a decade?
You can't do a Google search without
Oh, right,
touching AI.
right, and being able to write an entire paper by just saying, write me a paper about the Revolutionary War. And it's going to be spot on. That's something that's very concerning as we move forward.
Well, one thing about it, when you see a paper that looks like a PhD student wrote it, and you're dealing with a 7th grader,
Right.
you're probably going to know pretty quick.
Sure,
that it's AI.
absolutely.
All right. Did anybody have any other questions about any of these policies? They're all coming into what the state is suggesting.
Just, if it's all right,
Yes.
Y'all saw the email from TSBA. Every one of these that we presented to you for approval, we went through. We used TSBA's service to write them. They're just putting us in compliance with state law. We have to pass them one way or the other. It's just we decide. I guess we decided, and we did this last year too, to just present them all in one meeting in July. That way we're close to being. They take effect July 1, but we're not in school yet, so we have that little window there. And we don't get them before in between our school board meetings. So that's why we give you so many at one time. And why we tried to give them to you 3 weeks before the meeting so you could read through them too. That was the idea behind
The
it.
majority of these too are just updates too, though.
Yeah, most of them are.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Probably don't have to have a roll, but I'll ask for
Mr. Dacus?
Yes.
Ms. Fitzhugh?
Yes.
Mr. Passau?
yes.
Ms. Sanders?
Yes.
Mr. Gillum?
Yes.
Mr. Lamb?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan?
Yes. All right, item number 11, or 12, I'm sorry, is the discussion and vote on the appropriation of funds for the SCHS ball fields restrooms. I talked about this last time. I'm gonna make a motion from the chair that we appropriate no more than $100,000. I said 75 last meeting, but I wanna go to no more than $100,000 for funds for the SCHS ball fields restrooms. So that's from the chair, that's my motion.
Second.
Second by Mr. Lamb. Now we can discuss it. The reason why, and I said this last time, and I'll repeat it again, we had talked about this, we talked rounds and rounds about this. And for me, it's more about the safety of the school and the integrity of the school and the safety of the people down there. So we have ADA concerns. If somebody has to go to the restroom now that has a disability, they have to transverse through rocky terrain to get to the bathrooms because of the way that it's set up with the fence that we put up inside the school. We can have that, and that's a big part of it. The other part of it is a safety aspect. We can have people inside the schools at any given time. They can get around those barricades. They're not that secure, so we can have people in the schools when we don't want them in the schools. So for those reasons, I think that we need to appropriate the funds to get the bathrooms down there at the field.
Mike, is this gonna be new funds?
We're waiting on the audit report from the state. We believe, we have a really good idea that we're gonna be able to put quite a bit of money back into fund balance. And what we talked about, Mr. Wynn and us, when you brought this up, we started brainstorming on a way to do it. We would like to roll this into our capital projects fund and just do some things that we need to get done all together and make this a part of that. We'll probably know in the next month, I'd say the next month, Mr. Wynn, where our fund balance stands, but we've got a really good feeling we may be able to do this without asking the county for any money or anything like that. It would come from fund balance.
I think it's a great idea, because I've been to ball games and I understand what Bobby's saying. I just don't want it to take preference over some of the other things that we need immediately. I think our air conditioning's really been a big problem, and our units and things, and I think we need to make sure they're complete before anything else is started.
Well, we're starting to install new units next week at the middle school.
Good deal, good deal.
No, I agree
And I
with you
think it's
100%,
great.
Lisa.
I'm not saying that we don't need it, but there's just so many things that we've not got completed. I don't want us to jump and do something else.
I don't think it's gonna be an either or. I think we're gonna have the funds.
Okay.
I just can't tell you 100% because we gotta look at what our fund balance will be at the end, after the audit, and we get everything cleaned up. I believe we're gonna be able to do some things that we need to do.
Okay.
And I don't think this will replace anything.
Right, okay, good. That's what I want to make sure. Thank
Like
you.
most of the projects we talked about a few meetings ago, that were
Right.
running that you need to get done. I mean, I agree wholeheartedly as well, so.
Because you have a selective minority that plays sports, but you got everybody in the schools. And that's a top priority. And I think it is for everybody. Just want to make sure.
But is this just gonna be, I know that one time, a couple of years ago, we talked about, when they come back with like a multi-use building. Is this gonna be restrooms only?
Well, it could be something, but I want to be able to, for the school system to allocate X amount. If there's anybody in the community, if we have a booster club or something like that that wants to get involved, then there's that as well. But for right now, if we can get some restrooms, that's what we need. What we need is restrooms. If there's anything else that needs to be added or can be added, then it would need to be, added on, not with the school system's funds.
Bobby, on the first time you quoted it, you spoke into 75,000.
I did.
Now you jumped it up to 100,000.
I just, yes.
Have you got any hard numbers yet
I don't, but the thing that I know is that because it's a school, we'll have to have engineering. And engineering will soak up quite a bit of the total that I would want to put forward. So I would say that, you know, we're gonna expect to see at least 25,000 of that go to engineering. And I would like to see us be able to use enough funds to get what we need to get. 75 might not get it. 50's definitely probably not gonna get it. But 100, we can get 2 bathrooms down there. We can get a men's and a women's bathroom that is completely where we need it to be, I think for less than $100,000.
So you're saying that the 25,000 for men's in the bathroom, the engineering part will be 25,000?
I don't know.
Oh,
I just know that we have to have engineering, and I don't know what that'll cost us.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
We haven't done any, I mean, this is all preliminary talk. That's a ballpark. And, you know, it may be less than that. But we, you know, I think that it may be less than what Bobby's asking to be allocated.
Okay.
But
I
once
know-
it's approved that we can go forward with it, then we will start, you know, digging into it and have harder numbers for that.
I do know what was spent down here at the ballpark on that bathroom. And so, yes, I think we probably could do it for less, but it depends on what the engineering's gonna cost us. Because they didn't have any engineering on that.
We had most of that ballpark donated though,
Right,
and we still spent $30,000.
right. And most of it was donated.
Most of it was donated.
Right.
And he said no more than 100,000. So if it come back and it was like 175, we wouldn't be able to do it. So it doesn't really matter. Right now, 100,000 to me in the world ordering like I do every day, I'd say we can do it for 80 or 90, probably.
Say it went over, with a plan to accommodate the rest of the funds or fund the funds, or we just shut it down completely, or?
That would be up to the board. I think, you know, this proposal is just to earmark 100,000. So y'all would have to come back to the table.
Not to exceed.
I think we have enough people in this community that would help out if we absolutely had to, for donation wise. You know, people that want to see something like that get done. So worst case, you can always ask. I mean, we had to do it with the football weight room. We had the guys years and years ago allocated a certain amount of money, and we found donations and found people to come in and do work and got it done.
But we can't go on that. We've got to go on, somebody's got to present a contract for under $100,000. If we don't get one of those, it don't get started.
Correct.
So we can't start it and say, hey, we need help with block.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. I mean, we didn't do that until after the fact. We found these people. Once we knew it was going to cost a certain amount, we asked these people, can you do it for this? And they came in and did it for it, and then got started.
I think it's done.
Yeah, I mean, all we're doing is earmarking money. Getting a quote.
Yeah.
Let's get the quote and see, go from there. Earmark 100,000, then if y'all decide later, or whoever the board is decides later to change it, then.
Journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step.
So do you need a motion to?
We've already got the motion in a second. We're just talking about it before we vote. You got any?
I think it needs to be done as well, for security reasons. Can't put a price on it.
My bladder don't usually hold it walking all the way back up in here anyway.
I do agree with Lisa too, I don't want it to take over our existing stuff that we're doing.
I can't agree more. I appreciate that.
Mhm.
It doesn't need to take precedent over some of the other stuff that we have to get done. All right, any more discussion? I'll ask for a roll call vote.
Mr. Morgan?
Yes.
Mr. Dacus?
Yes.
Ms. Fitzhugh?
Yes.
Mr. Paceau?
Yes.
Ms. Sanders?
Yes.
Mr. Gillum?
Yes.
Mr. Lamb?
Yes.
All right. Item number 13 is new business. Does anybody have any new business they wish to discuss? All right. Item number 14 is the director's report.
All right, As you all know, school's right around the corner. We will be having opening day for all teachers at the middle school on Thursday, July 25th. And I'm telling you this, and the time also at 8, I believe it starts at 8, Dr. Duncan? 8 a.m. And we'd like to invite all the school board members. I know you have to work, but if you would like to come and say hello to the teachers and maybe even say something to them. Our teachers did an excellent job last year, and we're really excited of the momentum that we got started, the improvements we saw academically this past year. And at the next meeting, I'm going to have a presentation for showing all of our data, TCAP, and those types of things. We're really encouraged with the progress we're making, and our teachers deserve all the credit for that. And then, of course, the first day of school is Thursday, August 1st. Some really good news. Mr. Watkins called with Mr. Eric Watkins, the Transportation Safety Director, called me today, and he had a phone call from Mr. Mark Bloodworth, who's the Tennessee Department of Education Office of School Safety and Transportation. There were 14 school districts evaluated last year on their operation plans, and Stewart County received the highest score in the state. And he was very excited about it. I was very excited about it. That means that our plans are where they're supposed to be. They came down and they met with us. They went to each school, met with each principal, looked at what we're trying to do. And you can see there's a lot of things going on in the school system safety-wise. I know the big yellow poles, I think they're called pollards. You saw those coming in. That was a recommendation from Homeland Security. We just think we're on a good track, making sure that our kids are safe. And we were really proud, and I just want to let the board know that was going on. And besides that, next board meeting's August 8th. That's all I have.
So you said that the units are starting next, we're still going to do the split units, Mr. Jamie?
Yes.
Right.
They've come in.
They're ordered. As soon as they get in,
Put them
we'll
in.
start installing them.
Okay, good deal. Do you have a date when they may be in?
I talked to her today. I had to leave at 3:30. She said if they wasn't here today by 4, they'd be here tomorrow. And then that's when we'll start putting them in.
Do you
It's hot out there.
do you have a number of how many you're doing?
Right now, the first order was 8 units. And then, in total, it'll be 35. Getting all the ones that are down and the ones that are the most trouble, getting them done first, and then the next order will just be as they're going out. That's what we're changing to. But it should eventually be 35 in total.
Which ones are you starting first as far as?
I believe it's the 7th grade hallway. Is some of those are some of the worst ones that were the ones we have most trouble with. All right. Anything else? I'll seek a motion for adjournment. Motion by Ms. Sanders. Second by Mr. Jones. All those in favor say yes. Yes. Those opposed no. All right. We're adjourned.